Hi everyone, and welcome back to Study Hat. In today's lesson, we'll be looking at the key points of creative writing. So let's start by just reflecting back on the aims of the creative writing exercise and what it is checking your ability to do. So the examiners want to see that you can write in an engaging style. They want to see that you've got a wide vocabulary that you can use correctly. They want to see that you can produce sentences that are grammatically correct. They want to check that your handwriting is neat, and they want to see that you can spell correctly. Let's think then about how you would best approach the task when you are sitting there in the exam room. Now, the first thing that you need to do is decide, if you have a choice, as quickly as you can, which task you are going to be attempting. Now, you might not have a choice, in which case it's obviously going to be quicker for you to get started. But if you do have a choice, and there could be a number of different options, as fast as you can, go through them and select the one that you are most confident in being able to answer. Once you have decided upon the task, focus on the kind of writing it requires. So is it a story? Is it a persuasive essay? A personal essay? Is it a letter, a formal letter, an informal letter? Is it a recount? You might then also, remember, be set a task to continue with the story that has been given to you already in the comprehension extract. So you're going to want to be in a rush to get started, but it is a good idea to take just a few minutes out of your writing time and do some planning. It will actually speed up the process of writing when you do get going. So one of the things you need to do as part of your planning is remember to think about the key points that each paragraph is going to contain. So for example, if it's a story, which paragraph is going to deal with the climax of the plot? If it's a persuasive essay, what kind of argument are you going to deal with in your third paragraph? And then what are you going to say is your overall point of view in your conclusion? If you're writing a letter, how are you going to begin to set out the first paragraph of your letter? If you're writing a story, or if you're writing a recount that's going to feature characters, decide who those characters are going to be. You also need at this stage to decide if your writing is going to be in the first or the third person, and make sure that you don't deviate from that decision. You need to be consistent with it all the way through your writing. Before you move on to the middle part of your piece of writing, this is also a good opportunity to go back and just check through your introduction, making sure that you're happy with it and that it does everything that it needs to do. As you start on the main part then of your piece of writing, the middle, remember to keep checking back to your plan, so that you are making sure that you're following that structure. That will then mean that you are less likely to waffle and less likely to stray away from the focus of the question. Let's finish then with a few key points that you will need to be thinking of as you write, and particularly as your time starts to run out. So the whole time that you'll be writing, you should be keeping an eye on the time. Make sure that you are about halfway through your story or the piece of writing that you're having a go at when you're halfway through the time that you have been given. Don't try, though, to write too much. Quality and not quantity is really what the examiners will be looking for. Obviously, your writing needs to be of a decent length, but it's much more important to write at a high standard than it is to simply get words down on the paper. You will also need to think as you are writing it, and if you've got time, which you should have, go back to check it, that your final paragraph brings your work to a satisfactory conclusion. You'll need to make sure at the end of the time you read through your work to check for any mistakes. So leave about 5 minutes once you have finished writing before the time's going to be completely up to allow you to do that. That'll give you the opportunity to go and identify any errors that you might have made in spelling, punctuation and grammar, or take some late opportunities to improve your word choice, for example. That concludes then today's lesson on the key points of creative writing. Be sure to have a go at the quiz at the end of this video, and I'll see you in the next video.